Data is playing an ever-growing role in international development, but what lens can we use to analyse the impact of data on development? I'll explain based on my open access paper, Datafication, Development and Marginalised Urban Communities, an Applied Data Justice Framework, written with Satyarupa Shekhar. There are many positives that data can bring to development. Using the information value chain model, shown here, we can categorise the benefits quite simply in terms of improvements to decision making and consequent development actions and results. New data can help these to be delivered more quickly, more cheaply, in greater volume, to higher quality and for the very first time. Alongside the benefits are concerns about this intensified role for data, concerns that have particularly solidified around the notion of data justice, which we define as the specification and pursuit of ethical standards for data-related resources, processes and structures. The ideas of data justice have been really valuable, but rarely put together into a systematic and comprehensive framework. This is what we'll construct for you here, made up from 5 dimensions. Procedural data justice relates to fairness in the way in which data is handled. One manifestation of procedural injustice is the use of citizens' data without their informed consent, as, for example, when patient call records were released by NGOs during the West Africa Ebola crisis. Instrumental data justice means fairness in the results of the use of data. Misuse is sometimes thought of in terms of hacking of data, but is more commonly associated with use of data by governments for surveillance of citizens. Rights-based data justice means adherence to basic data rights such as representation, privacy, access and ownership. For example, any data traces based on mobile activity will systematically underrepresent women, given that ownership and usage levels of mobiles in the global south are skewed towards men and away from women. Distributive data justice is an overarching dimension relating to the equality or inequality of all data-related outcomes. Thinking back to that issue of representation suggests that a whole series of inequalities may be widened by the growth of datafication. And lastly, structural data justice is the degree to which interests and power in wider society support fair outcomes in other forms of data justice. Let's take the simple example of data sets being used to plan a new digital platform for low-income populations. Whether that data usage is just or unjust, whether it increases or reduces inequalities, will in large part be governed by the agendas of the more powerful actors who design and own the platform. These 5 dimensions can be used individually, for example, just to analyse data practices or just to analyse the impact of context on a new data system. Or the model can be used holistically, for example, to understand the full development impact of a particular data initiative. Our Datafication, Development and Marginalised Urban Communities paper takes the latter route. It analyses pro-equity data initiatives that were implemented in 4 cities: Chennai, Nairobi, Pune and Surakarta. These initiatives specifically sought to address data injustices suffered by slum dwellers and other marginalised groups, particularly their invisibility to urban planners and other external agencies. Using the data justice lens, our research finds, in terms of instrumental and rights-based data justice, that new data flows do have a positive impact in counteracting the injustice of invisibility, but they disproportionately serve those with the motivation and power to use that data. Results in terms of service improvements and epistemic change are beneficial for slum communities and other marginalised citizens, and these initiatives can be justified on that basis. However, from a distributive and structural data justice perspective, it's likely that these pro-equity initiatives actually increase relative inequalities. Ordinary community members have seen some benefits, but external actors who find the data to match their agenda and their capabilities benefit more. It is the latter who are more empowered to access, to use, and to control the new data. If you'd like to know more, then take a look at our open access paper published in the journal Information, Communication and Society.